Thank everybody for being here. I visited with some locals who live around here, including a family member of the owner of this store. I let her know that I first came to this store about 21 years ago. Been to this store every year for many years. I've seen these little campers since they were just a little bit bigger than toddlers, young kids. I've seen them grow and mature into beautiful young men and women. Nothing is as heart-wrenching as hearing the stories of what the girls around here, especially the girls at Camp Mystic, went through. To see where they lived in one moment, where they disappeared the next moment, and were gone forever a few moments after that. I wanted these people to know, I want you all to know, the hearts of our fellow Texans are breaking every single day because of what people of this community and the surrounding area are going through. There's nothing more important on our hearts and minds than the people of this community, especially those who are still lost. I told them what we were doing, not just today, but what we are going to be doing for the days, weeks, and months to come. This is what they needed to hear. They need to know Texas is in this with the people in the Hill Country right here. We are not leaving until this job is finished. The job right now, the primary job right now, continues to be locating everybody who was affected by this flood. There still remain those who are missing. We have to find every single person who's missing. And that's job number one. While we are doing that job, it's important that we also be conducting other business affecting this storm. We did several things in that regard today. One is to get a better assessment about what exactly needed to be provided for the community. We took a flyover to get that assessment. I've been here for multiple times over the course of the past 2 decades, but multiple times over the course of just this one flooding episode. And I have a good feel on the ground of what is needed. But when you're in the air, you get a fuller perspective of how widespread, how catastrophic the damage is, and what must be done to fully address it. We were able to process that better today when we flew around. And on that fly around today, I had with me the Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, who's going to speak after myself. I want to provide you with some information, some of which is just now updated. First, the numbers that I have is that there are 94 fatalities. 94 fatalities associated with this flooding event in this area. Separate from that, in other flooding events in other parts of the state of Texas, there's another 15 fatalities for a total of 109. To put this into perspective, just in the Kerr and Kendall counties alone, there are far more fatalities than there were in Hurricane Harvey. That's how catastrophic this is. I also have some updated numbers on those who are missing. First, from Camp Mystic. My information is those who are missing is down to now 5 campers and 1 counselor. 5 campers and 1 counselor missing. In addition to that, there is another child not associated with the camp who is missing. So for Kerr County, that would be a total of 7 who are missing. In other parts of the state, there are 12 who are missing. I have a new number, however. So one thing we've been reaching out to the public about is to get better information about those who were not registered at a camp, those who were not registered at a hotel, those who may have been down here who no one really had any accounting of. And through law enforcement agencies working together, they provided me this number. Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing. And again, that comes from combined law enforcement efforts, 161 known people who are missing. Know this, we will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also, there very likely could be more added to that list. One way that we were able to expand the list of those who are missing is because family members, friends, neighbors, etc. begin calling in and reporting them as missing. What I want to do is once again provide a reminder to anybody watching this that if you have a friend, a family member, somebody that you think may be missing because of this storm, we need you to call the number that I'm about to give you. It is 830-258-1111. That's 830-258-1111. If you want to go to a website address, you can go to kerrvillemissing@dps.texas.gov. I'm going to repeat it twice more. That's Kerrville, spelled Kerrville, no space, then the word missing, MISSING. So Kerrville Missing at dps.texas.gov. So either call that phone number, go to that website, and provide the name and the best identification you can and the last known location of anybody that you think is missing. Know this also, if you make a prank call or provide false information, that's a crime. Do not provide false information because you're hindering our ability to undertake this investigation, hindering our ability to actually rescue and find those who truly are missing. So you better be correct when you're calling in and let us know that there is somebody who is missing. Importantly, we know that so many families are going through grief that's beyond anyone's comprehension right now, beyond any of us being able to walk up to them and give them the magic words that will make them suddenly feel healed. We know that they need grief counselors. We have 5 organizations that together are providing dozens of grief counselors for all of the affected family members around here. It's so important at times like this for family members to access that grief counseling so they can have their mental and emotional health needs addressed in what may be the most challenging time of their lives. Something else that's a help as we begin the process of helping places like the Hunt store, the local community, Hunt, Texas, be able to rebuild. One thing that is speeding that recovery was the immediate granting of the major master declaration that was granted by President Trump. It immediately opened not only access to more funding, but also access to more resources to be able to more quickly and more effectively respond to this storm. That includes debris removal, which has already begun. It includes assistance for individuals who are eligible to apply, and the Director of Texas Division of Emergency Management will explain more about that in a second. But there are 2 categories of people or entities that there is money available to assist. One are individuals affected by the storm. Another are public entities like the town of Hunt, like the town of Kerrville, like the county of Kerr, etc. They may have needs with regard to roads or utilities, whatever the case may be. Now the assistance is available for them to more effectively and more quickly address that. With regard to roads, anybody who's driven around here knows that there are some roads that need repairs. The Texas Department of Public Safety is working 24/7 to make sure they're going to be getting these roads repaired and passable as quickly as possible. Going back to President Trump, he and I spoke again this morning, and he could not stop talking about how sad he was for all the little girls who've lost their life. He recounted his own understanding of what happened with what was really a tsunami wave of wall of water that swept too many of them away. And he cares a lot about those young ladies. And he wants to step up and make sure that any need that we have here in Texas is going to be met very quickly. And he's already done that by helping to provide the quick assistance by sending down Secretary Kristi Noem, who, listen, I've been dealing with events like this for 10 years. Never have I seen someone respond as quickly and as effectively as what Secretary Noem did. Also, while coming over here, I received this text from Secretary Kennedy. It says the following. It says, Governor Abbott, is Secretary Robert Kennedy. It says, we are set to declare a public health emergency for the Texas Hill Country flash floods. This will make it easier for healthcare and mental health providers from out of state to help both by traveling to the area and by telemedicine. Please let us know where we can be most helpful, which I will let him know. But I just wanted you to know about that new update. Now I would like to turn things over to the Speaker of the Texas House, Dustin Burrows.
Thank you, Governor. First, to the members of the community and to all those who've been impacted, the survivors, those who've lost loved ones, I know there's not any adequate words any of us can express to share our care and concern. But I want to promise you, every person in this state, every tip of it, we have held you in our thoughts, in our prayers, and we will continue to do so as you go through this. And you take care of what I know all Texans can endure. I had the opportunity to fly with Governor Abbott today over the damaged area. It is hard to comprehend the amount of water that came through in such a short period of time. It is unimaginable what the victims and survivors went through as they were faced with that, and we heard the stories about that. And looking at the debris and looking at the problems and all of the damage that's been done, I know there's a long road to recovery. But through that, we saw some silver linings. We saw Texas flags being flown proudly because we know people of this state are resilient. We saw people from all over the state coming together and working and volunteering and trying to begin helping rebuild and continuing with the search and recovery efforts. I have had members of the Texas House from all over the state looking for ways to help. You have a great local representative with West Verdell, but I promise you, every Texan, all 150 members of the Texas House have been looking for ways to help, whether it's helping to raise money or wanting to do things. They are committed to it. I want to thank Governor Abbott for saying that we will address these issues in a special session in 2 weeks. And I want to assure you, the Texas House will be organized, we will be ready, and we stand willing and able to listen to the community and experts and do all that we can to help address it from this perspective. So thank you all very much for the opportunity. I'll turn over the microphone.
This is the kind of event that the Speaker of the House would have come to in an ordinary situation. When you consider the fact that we're going to start a special session 2 Mondays from now, a special session that will have at the top of its agenda helping communities like in Kerr County and Kendall County, as well as in Central Texas and the Big Country, all areas affected by the floods of the past week. Those issues are going to be on the agenda for the state to address from top to bottom. We want to make sure that when we end that session, we end it making sure these communities are better, more resilient, and have the resources that they need for the next chapter of their lives. Now we have the director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Freeman Martin.
Governor, thank you. The governor said it. We have 109 fatalities and 161 missing. Every asset and resource that the Department of Public Safety has is being used on this response. We have 258 people just from DPS assigned here in Kerrville. They're from the Highway Patrol, the Tactical Marine Unit, Criminal Investigators, Texas Rangers, SWAT, IOD, and ICT, and Victim Services. And you ask, well, what do all these do? Everybody does something different. Everybody understands search and rescue. When the governor mentioned 161 missing, the city of Kerrville stood up a line that if you can't get a hold of a loved one, if they're missing in the Kerrville area, call this number. That number grew to several hundred. These analysts worked with Kerr County Sheriff's Department and the Kerrville Police Department to narrow that down. People that have been identified as deceased, people who have been found alive, deconflicted, the numbers that have been reported twice, and we are still down to 161 missing. All I can tell you is there's nothing to celebrate about how well we've done this far, but there's a lot of work to be done. And we're thankful that the speaker standing behind us and the governor, the Texas legislature has funded us, and we're properly staffed and equipped to respond to this. Just this last session, a few weeks ago, we were given 6 replacement helicopters and 1 fixed wing. That is exactly what we use to respond to these. I'll tell you another thing, we have plenty of resources, but at the same time, we're not turning down one resource until we recover every last person on this list of 161. So we have FBI, DEA, HSI, the United States Border Patrol, the United States Coast Guard, everybody working together under a unified command, and we won't stop until we finish. A couple things. Right now in Burnett County, we have 3 Zodiac boats and 26 DPS personnel from the Tactical Marine Unit and the Texas Highway Patrol continuing searching. I'm in constant communication with the Travis County Sheriff, Sally Hernandez. They are helping us at the medical examiner's office, and at the same time, they have as many as 10 people that are missing from Travis County. As we pulled in the parking lot, I got off the phone with the sheriff from Williamson County. They just recovered their last victim. They had 3 people that were swept away, and just minutes ago, they recovered their last victim in Williamson County. There's a lot of work to be done in Kerr County and Kendall County. We will continue to grow this and add additional agencies as we go forward, but the governor's right, we won't stop until every last body is recovered, alive or not. So thank you very much. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Now, General Suelzer with the Texas National Guard.
Thank you, Governor. I just got off about an hour-long helicopter trip with the governor, and I can tell you what I saw was miles and miles of massive devastation. The Texas National Guard will stay here working with our federal, state, and local partners to search for the missing and to help our communities recover.
We can't hear. Okay. Just the trucks?
We will continue using assets such as search crews on the ground, high-profile military vehicles, Black Hawk helicopters with rescue hoists, and heavy Chinook helicopters in order to conduct search and rescue, evacuation, and to insert critical safety teams into austere areas to help life-saving. Aiding us in the effort today is the arrival of 4 Black Hawk helicopters from the state of Arkansas. That grows our agency count to 13 helicopters in support of this effort. Additionally, overhead, for the last 3 days, we have had MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted aircraft conducting search and rescue operations. We are working with other states to get additional crews to support so that we can expand the coverage of that search and rescue operation. And lastly, we have shelter management crews that are working within the community to help those in need. I would like to close by saying something that the governor has said many times before. He's said it many times today, but I'll emphasize it. Your National Guard will not leave until every person is found, and we will not leave until our communities are recovered. Thank you.
Thank you. General Suelzer rightfully mentioned and thanked the state of Arkansas for helping out with those Blackhawks as well as other resources. I jotted down from memory what I think is every state that I know has either provided help or offered it or is on its way. I say that I'm hoping I'm not leaving anybody out. But our fellow governors and fellow states are helping out from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Ohio, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and I regret if I missed your state. I'll try to come back to it here in a second. But next is Chief Nim Kidd with the Texas Division of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Governor. I want to start by thanking all of you for standing out here in this heat and experiencing a little bit of what the volunteers and first responders are dealing with around the clock as we continue our search. We have 4 priorities. They are the continuation of the search. They are debris cleanup and removal. They are supporting individual assistance programs and public assistance programs. I'm going to dive into some of the details of those. We continue our search operations not just here in Kerr County, but in the other 5 counties where we have people that are reported missing. As you can see and hear by the trucks passing by, debris cleanup is well underway. I want to thank the volunteers and all of the private sector partners that are out there working on debris operations right now. This will aid in the continuation of our search. We are pushing forward to help those whose homes and businesses have been impacted through the FEMA Individual Assistance Program. The President's program has people here on the ground today that are working to get people registered through our websites and start opening disaster recovery centers today and tomorrow. Damage assessments for those locals are still underway, and we've had over 1,000 submissions into the ISTAT program. Please, if you have not submitted into the ISTAT program yet and your home or business was impacted, you send that information to us. Next, well, that didn't work out. Next, we continue to work on our public assistance for our communities, working to get our roads repaired, our debris cleaned up, our water, wastewater, and utilities back up online. Finally, I need your help in getting the message out to help keep the roads cleared. You've seen a lot of damage in these roads as our TxDOT crews are out trying to repair those roads right now while we still have a lot of traffic in our emergency operations. I want to thank you again for your time and your patience in helping us get this message out.
Thank you, Chief. Yesterday, I met with families at Camp Mystic. I made a commitment to them. The day before, I met with residents of Kerrville. Today, I met with residents of Hunt. I made a promise to all of them. Texas will not stop until we finish the job. We will not stop until we identify, recover every single body. We will not stop until every road is rebuilt, every inch of debris is removed. We'll not stop because we are a state that cares about our people, cares about our communities, and we'll be with them every step of the way. We'll take a few questions.
Governor, Monday happened.
So obviously the local officials who were on the ground at the time would know the most about that. But let's talk about it in this way. That's going to be one of the issues that we begin to address in less than 2 weeks in the state legislature. We're going to address every aspect of this storm to make sure that we're going to have in place the systems that are needed to prevent deadly flooding events like this in the future.
Governor? When one thing happened, Governor, you led an investigation. Are you going to ask for an investigation in this case?
So you, we say when Harvey happened?
No, Uvalde.
Oh, Uvalde.
Uvalde happened.
Yeah.
And it was gross negligence back then. Now this happened, and the death toll is enormous. Are you going to ask for investigation? Who is to blame here?
Right. So I'm going to talk about two different things. The first part of your question, and that is an investigation. We know a special session's coming in about 10 days. That's where, I would say, where it begins. Candidly, those investigations will begin by both the House and Senate before we go into session. So probably beginning later this week or the early part of next week, there'll be committees formed that are already kind of working on ideas about ways to address this. Second part of your question needs to be addressed. You ask, and I'm going to use your words, who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. Let me explain one thing about Texas, and that is Texas, every square inch of our state cares about football. You could be in Hunt, Texas, Huntsville, Texas, Houston, Texas, any size community, they care about football. High school, Friday night lights, college football, or pro. And know this, every football team makes mistakes. The losing teams are the ones that try to point out who's to blame. The championship teams are the ones that say, don't worry about it, man, we got this. We're going to make sure that we go score again, that we're going to win this game. The way winners talk is not to point fingers. They talk about solutions. What Texas is all about is solutions. In fact, I want to read you something that I received last night that's worth emphasizing to put this in context. Tragedy has come. That part is done. What we do now, who we are now, that's what the story is still being written. Let it be one of grace, of grit, of fierce love in the face of grief. Let it be the kind of story that proves that the hill country may flood, but it does not fail. Say what you will about Texas, but when the rivers rise, so do we. Not with blame, not with bitterness, but with boots on the ground, arms around strangers, and hearts wide open. That's the Texas I know, and that's the America that I believe in. What this person wrote is what I know is true for all Texans, and what we will achieve every single day.
Governor, what kind of legislation do you hope to see come from this special session?
You know, part of the legislative process is policy is not made in a vacuum. We have ideas. I've served on 2 investigatory committees out of the House before I was Speaker, both Uvalde and Panhandle wildfires. There are things that we can talk about, but it is too early to commit to know the specifics until we actually talk to the members of the community and hear what they think. Talk to the experts in the field. Talk to the first responders. That's what legislative hearings are for. We are ready to get started. The legislators I talk to, the members of the House, and I know the Senate, are very interested in finding solutions to not accept that we can't do better. But we will have those hearings. We will synthesize what we get, and we will come up with legislation that I believe will make it to the governor's desk and make us a stronger, better, more resilient Texas.
Governor, what do you say to these families that say these solutions may be a little too late?
Well, so one thing that we're focused on is making sure that we deliver the right solutions. One thing the Speaker just said is worth emphasizing, and that is that for us to provide real solutions, we actually need to hear from the people who are the ones most affected. The ones most affected, they're dealing with the grievance of having lost a child or lost a business or otherwise have their lives turned upside down. They don't have the capability right now of providing that information. We'll talk to local leaders, importantly, not just here, but across the state. And we want to make sure that we address what happened here, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we are able to implement measures that are going to be able to prevent loss in other regions going forward. So we have our work cut out for us, but I know the members of the House and members of the Senate, I know we'll work and get some meaningful things done. So again, my focus isn't on trying to say, oh, you did wrong or you should have done better there. My job is to bring Texas and Texans together and make sure that we immediately start delivering on solutions. You talk about the heroic effort, and no one has seen the level of response as what Texas has provided over the past 4 days or so. And we continue to maintain that response here while also going to the state capitol and working on around-the-clock responses there to make sure that we do deliver real solutions for these people sitting right behind you. Sure. So what your question is about what local officials knew, you'd have to ask them. Now, what the state was aware of, the state was aware that there was a possible serious flooding event days in advance, and we pre-positioned assets and resources and personnel. And remember, the flood began on Friday morning. We originally positioned those assets, resources, and personnel on Wednesday. Then when greater clarity was discerned on Thursday, we moved them closer, added, and made sure that we had adequate supply going into Friday. So we were ready with the resources on the ground to be able to quickly respond. Some people say, well, we responded so fast. One reason we did respond fast is because we had assets here already. That said, we didn't know the magnitude of the storm. We knew that there was a flash flood warning. And if you heard a flash flood warning, no one would know that that would be a 30-foot high tsunami wall of water, I don't think. But all I can tell you is the information we had, the state had, and that we acted on, was information that catalyzed us to begin putting assets and resources in place 2 days before the event happened.
We have time for two more, folks.
Excuse me, a follow-up, sir. I'm local.
Yep.
We